All right, guys, welcome back to the shack. And tonight we're going to be working on a project that I'm partnering to assist a fellow maker in a project that he's been working on. As you know, there's lots of folks in the world of YouTube content creation that do kind of what I do. But a lot of us have different machines, different capabilities, and I have been blessed to have basically any kind of laser that I could need. So my buddy Ryan, y'all may know him, Ryan Ballard. He does a CNC weekly show, and I'll drop links to Ryan's channel and all that down below. But Ryan has developed and is coming out with his own CNC, and he was looking for something unique. He wanted it to be more or less a maker's machine. He's building it. You can cut the parts out. He can cut the parts out. It's going to be like you can 3D print parts. It's going to be awesome. So I was very much delighted to assist when he asked me about it. And so what we're going to be doing tonight is I have been tasked with making the serial number plates for the machines. So we're going to be using black acrylic. This is black acrylic, and I don't know if you can tell that or not. This is black acrylic that I got from Johnson's Plastics Plus. And it just came in today. I've been waiting on it to get here where I can get Ryan's serial number plates worked out. As you can see, they're shaped kind of like a dog tag, but we put two holes in there so that you can drop a screw and attach it to the machine. This is serial number 0001. So to kind of show you the process that it took to come up with this, it's going to take several machines, but I'm going to walk you through that right quick, give you an idea how the project went. We're going to make this a short, simple video, so stick around and let's get started. All right, guys, for the first stage of this, we're going to be cutting out the blanks with the xTool P2. Many of you may know there's been several machines held this position lately, but when it comes to doing these jobs and cutting acrylic, I wanted something I was comfortable with and something I had the good settings for, and so we went with the P2. I've got it back up here. We'll be running it for a while again. I kind of want the P2S, but for right now, the old trusty P2 is getting it done. So we're going to use it to cut the acrylic out of the stock, and these are my sheets right here. These came from, like I said, Johnson Plastics Plus, and these are the 12 by 20 acrylic sheets. We're going to be cutting them with the coating on them, and I know it makes it easier if you take this off before you cut them because you don't have to peel those little things off there, but these aren't going to be that terrible to remove. Plus, it's going to help keep the pieces clean just so I don't get any of that gassy staining around the cut. So we're going to cut that with them on them. So let's get over to XCS and get that started, guys. All right, so the design was done in Lightburn, as usual. That's kind of the way I work. And I worked with Ryan on getting it set up. And what I'm doing is I'm setting the text. I want to leave the text in there just to keep the file set. But I'm setting the text layer to not output. And I've got it set to 0 and 0 speed and power. I've got the material set to glossy acrylic for cut on the outer line, which is going to be the cut. That's all we're doing here is we're cutting the two holes and the outer shape in these things. All right, so got the P2 fired up, guys, letting it run these. And like I said, I'm just doing the outer shapes, and then we're going to do the engraving over on the ComMarker Omni 1. The UV is going to do a really good job on that, so let's get that going. All right, so now we got plenty of blanks. Ryan wanted 20, but because of the size of the sheet of material, as you saw, I just went ahead and used up the whole sheet, and we did 30. That gives us one or two to test, and in case there's any goof ups, I'm not having to fire the P2 back up and cut anymore, but surely we can get 20 good ones out of 30 blanks. So one thing that I am going to do, and I always try to do this when I'm doing repetitious things, is we're going to build a little small jig panel to put in the ComMarker Omni 1, which is what we're going to use to engrave this. And the reason I'm using the Omni is a UV laser. It's cold engraving. It does a really good job with plastics, synthetic materials. This machine will make those things pop and have that white, nice, crisp finish that I want. So we'll show you how we get that started. All right, my go-to, the Atom Stack X40 backs. Just knock this thing out of some Luan, and that's going to be my little jig insert right there. All right, so after getting the little jig panel cut out, this is all that it is. And I've got this little square piece that I 3D print, and I set it in the base of the machines, and these fit in that little 3D printed rail, hold everything in place. All you gotta do is set up your frame, and you're off to the races. So I'm gonna get this over here, and we'll walk through, and I'll show you the process of getting them started. All right, guys, the blue line around the perimeter, that's my tool line that I'm using for alignment, but we're going to be using the variable text options by using that 0 with the 4 Ds. That's basically telling it we want to do a serial number. I've got serial number selected up top for the number type. And if you don't have it, make sure that this little box is checked so that you have the variable text window. But you can, as you advance through, it's going to change the serial number, and that's cool when you got a pedal. All right, guys, so I spared you the setup, but I've got my little jig panel in there. The way that this machine frames is you have to use this little neon piece of plexi here, or acrylic. Once I've determined that I'm exactly where I need to be, good to go, I can put this away. As long as I save that file and do not move any of these parts, or even if I move these parts, as long as I put everything back in the same place, I can just rip these things out with not having to worry about alignment. So with this machine, I've got everything set up in Lightburn. It is running, it's in the frame mode. So with this machine, I also have a pedal that I can use to run these jobs. And so the next thing that I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm just gonna reach down here and hit the pedal. Because of the way that I've got it set up, every time I hit the pedal, it's gonna burn that same design again, but it's gonna change the number. So I don't have to walk back over to the computer or anything. I can sit here, and while it's burning one blank, I can be sitting over here peeling off of the material off my second one. All you got to do is bring your little small trash can, which I did not do. And then so as soon as this one gets done, I can pop it out, pop this one in, and hit the button, and we're off to the next one. So I'm going to sit down and start batching these guys out and let you watch it. All right, guys, so that didn't take long at all. The one thing that I will say, although the Omni is not really fast, the results are awesome. I did wind up using one just to make sure my graphics were centered and everything when I was setting my jig up. So I wound up with 29 total. So if Ryan sells more than 29, we'll be doing some more of these. So I saved all of my jig files and everything so that I can literally pull these files back up, send them back to the machines designated to do the different jobs, and knock out another 30. So we're going to get these packaged up and sent over to Ryan to pair it with his new machine. I'm pretty sure he'll be releasing a little bit of video on the machine, what to expect from it and all that. Here, I think he said Saturday. Don't quote me on that, but I think he said Saturday. Look down below. I'll send you links to his Ranger CNC stuff as well as his R Ballard stuff, all of that. So anything you want to know about what Ryan's up to over there, what kind of CNC he's developing, then just go check out the links. But glad to be a part of the project. Glad to get to do this part. And the ComMarker Omni one did a really good job. And guys, never forget, there will be links down below for the ComMarker Omni if you're interested in. Now, before you go look at it, I'm going to let you know, it's not cheap. It is a very expensive machine. It's for very niche type things. It can engrave almost anything. You're not going to do deep engraving with it, and you're not going to do fast engraving with it necessarily. Some materials are faster than others, but for the most part, this machine is just versatile. It can mark anything, wood included. Even after I got through, before I took this out of the machine, I wanted to make sure that I knew, which side was the top and all that. So I used the laser to put top on there. So yes, it'll do wood. It doesn't really clean burn on wood. It'll cut some really thin metals. It's a very versatile machine, but it is expensive and it's not the fastest machine around. But I love it for stuff like this. You cannot get these kind of results with any other machine in the shop. So there you have it. If you want to go check it out, I'll also drop videos, links to the videos about that particular machine. So I hope you like the project, guys. Let me know what you think about all the different machines being used. To me, that's what makes it fun, is knowing which machine excels at what. Yes, I could have cut these out probably with this machine. I know it will cut 3mm acrylic, but it's nowhere near as fast as the P2 would have been or was on this job. So each machine has its own unique need. Yes, I could have cut this piece of wood here for the jig. I could have cut it on the P2, but I chose to use my atom stack because it's just quicker and easier for me to design this in light burn, and the atom stack is a light burn machine. So we got to use the P2 today for the acrylic cut. We got to use the atom stack X40 to make our little jig with. Of course, I printed these little parts over here with the Bamboo Labs. And lastly, we did the engrave with the ComMarker Omni 1. So lots of machines involved in this process, but that is what makes making with these machines really, really fun. So until next time, guys, be safe and have a good day.